March 27. 47 B.C. Ptolemy Dionysius, king of Egypt, drowned in the Nile. His name is rendered execrable to the latest posterity for the murder of Pompey, his benefactor. 1306. Robert Bruce crowned King of Scotland at Scone. Edward had carried off the national diadem, so that one was manufactured for the occasion, which was placed upon the head of the liberator by Isabella, Countess of Buchan, a descendant of Macduff. 1350. Alfonso II of Castile died at Gibraltar. He is famous for his wars with the Moors, in which 200,000 of them were slain. 1546. John Diaz, a Spaniard, murdered at Neuburg, Germany. He embraced the doctrines of the Reformers, and while on a visit to Calvin was met by his brother, who, being unable to reconvert him, hired an assassin to dash out his brains with an axe while in bed at night. 1563. A bill brought into the House of Commons, permitting the Bible and church service to be translated into the Welsh or British tongue and used in the Church of Wales. The New Testament in Welsh appeared in 1567, in quarto, 339 pages in black letter. 1614. An octroi passed the States General of the United Netherlands, for regulating voyages to America, under which Adrian Block, Hendrik Korstiansen, and Cornelius Jacobson May distinguished themselves by their adventures. 1617. Francis Bacon made Lord Chancellor of England, in place of Ellesmere, who died within a fortnight of his resignation. The new Chancellor soon disgusted the public by his vanity, love of show, meanness and corruption. 1622. The Indians, by a preconcerted conspiracy, fell upon the Virginia colony, 347 of whom, unresisting and defenseless, were massacred with indiscriminate barbarity. This massacre was plotted by Apocancano, and was followed by an exterminating war between the parties. 1625. James VI of Scotland I of England died, aged 59. He was the son of Mary and Lord Darnley, and succeeded to the throne at an early age. In 1603 he succeeded to the crown of England, on the death of Elizabeth. It was during his reign that the famous plot was concerted for blowing up the king and parliament. It was also during his reign, and through his weakness, that Walter Raleigh lost his life. He was an encourager of learning, though a pedant himself. The translation of the Bible in present use bears his sanction and authority. 1634. Leonard Calvert, having been appointed governor of Maryland by his brother Lord Baltimore, arrived with 200 settlers, and settled the town of St. Mary's, establishing religious liberty and granting lots of 50 acres to each emigrant. 1654. Monsieur Berthoud, ambassador extraordinary from the King of France to Cromwell, arrived in London, and on obtaining an audience, recognized the principle that God shows his love to men by giving them wise rulers. 1660. Tobias Venner, an English physician, died. His medical works were popular, and for talent are above mediocrity. 1669. Mount Trumento formed of an indurated mass of lava by the great eruption of Mount Etna. 1676. Battle of Patuxent, between 50 English and 20 friendly Indians under Captain Pierce, and 600 of Philip's Indians. The English were drawn into an ambush, or deceived in the force of their enemies, and making an error in drawing down by the side of the river to prevent being surrounded, the Indians crossed over, and galled them from the opposite side, so that they were constrained to fight it out to the last. 1699. Edward Stillingfleet, an eminent English prelate, died. His first work was entitled Weapon Salve for the Church's Wounds, which was ably written, notwithstanding the quaintness of the title. His works were principally polemical, and were published in 6 volumes. Folio. 1710. Sacheverell's 2 sermons burned before the Royal Exchange in the presence of the Lord Mayor of London, and he himself forbid to preach for 3 years. 1718. Mary Beatrix Eleanora d'Este, Queen Dowager to King James II of England, died at St. Germain-en-Laye. 1729. Leopold, Duke of Lorraine, died. He was noted for his military abilities, by which he recovered his country, and governed his subjects with wisdom and justice. He was also a liberal patron of the arts and sciences. 1756. French burned Fort Bull, Oneida County, New York. 1771. A. McDougall discharged by the Supreme Court of New York, after having been subjected to imprisonment as the author of a newspaper article signed "A Son of Liberty." 1778. Nicolas Sebastian Adam, a French sculptor, died. He was the second of 3 brothers who enjoyed some reputation as sculptors in France in the early part of the last century. His principal works are the Tomb for the Wife of Stanislaus of Poland, and Prometheus Chained. 1782. Caraccioli, the Viceroy of Sicily, abolished the Inquisition there, and destroyed the archives. 1793. The French Gendarmerie, in a conference with Austrian Karl Mack, at If, resolved to march back on Paris and establish the constitutional monarchy of 1791. 1794. Jacob Nicolas Moreau, historiographer of France, guillotined at the age of 77. He was also librarian to the Queen, an able writer, and attached to the royal cause. 1794. Convention between Denmark and Sweden, for the mutual defense of their rights. 1802. Treaty of Amiens signed between England, Spain, France and the Batavian Republic. 1805. The County of Lewis, in northern New York, erected. 1809. Sullivan County, New York, erected. 1809. An eruption of Mount Etna. 1811. Battle of Anhalt in the Kattegat Strait. The island was attacked by 4,000 Danes, who were repulsed by 350 British, with the loss of 6 cannon and 500 prisoners. 1814. Battle of Horseshoe, at the bend of the Talpoosie River, between the United States troops under Jim Jackson, and the Creek Indians, with the loss of about 800 killed. U.S. lost 91 killed, 268 wounded. 1829. The Zoological Society of London and Bruton Street Incorporated. 1839. All the opium belonging to British subjects in China, amounting to 20,283 chests, valued at about $9 million, was surrendered up to Captain Elliot, superintendent of the British trade, for the purpose of being destroyed, in obedience to the orders of the Chinese government. 1847. Methuselah Baldwin died at Scotchtown, New York, aged 84. He was licensed to preach in 1791 by the Presbytery of Newark. 1854. William Henry Cavendish Scott Bentinck, Duke of Portland, a British statesman, died, aged 84. 1856. N. S. Prime, a New York divine, died, aged 70, known as the author of A History of Long Island. 1857, Charles III, Duke of Parma, aged 31, died at Turin of a wound given by an assassin in the streets the night previous.